I am just a messenger. Don't hate me, hate the game. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, JENNJ. We're back for another video. Ooh, this makeup look. Ooh. Today we're gonna talk about the reason why your hair isn't growing. And I put growing in the title of this video because unless you have a medical condition, your hair is growing. The problem is you're not retaining that length. But let's talk about it, sis. Before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell to get notified every single time I upload a new video. Follow me on Instagram where I post pictures like this. Ooh, did you see that? I'll show you again. Pa! Ooh! Follow me on Instagram. So today we're going to talk about the reason why you're not retaining your length. Your hair's growing, but it's breaking off at the same rate. So it stays the same length, or if anything, it's getting shorter. So that's when it's breaking faster than it's growing. So if you're in that category, we need to talk. All right, so the first thing, I made a list to keep myself organized. You're not tying your hair at night. I am so guilty of this one, and this is why I included it as the first one, because I need to do better. I know better. Not tying your hair at night, you're drying your hair out, you're drying your ends out, all of that friction against your pillow, it's like this against your hair. You're breaking your ends off. That's creating split ends. That's creating a ton of problems that you don't want. And you have to use what works for you. Some people like big bonnets. Some people like a silky hair tie, silk pillowcases. Just find what works. And for me, being in the lazy category, I'm just gonna give myself options. So I'm gonna do silk pillowcases and then head wrap. And that's if like I don't put my head wrap on, then my pillowcases got me. Number two, you don't have a hair routine. You don't know what the hell you're doing with your hair, girl. You wash her whenever, dip condition, whatever. You don't know if you should moisturize or not. You're all over the place. You don't have this routine that you go back to, especially when your hair is either acting up or you kind of like been ignoring her, because let's face it, no one does their hair 100% of the time. You gotta have a routine that you can go back to. Press that reset button and your hair will feel like butter the next day. If you wonder why I have oil all over my head wrap and I can't be great today, it's because said routine has started. My head wrap may be looking crazy. I may be hoity AF, but my hair tomorrow? Okay. We're going to pre-poo overnight, and then tomorrow, we're going to wash her. We're going to dip condition her. We're going to moisturize her. I may even trim my ends. You're not washing your hair in sections. Sis, it's 2020. You gotta do better. Wash your hair in sections. I can't tell you how beneficial it is to wash your hair in sections. Honestly, you should just do it once and then come back and let me know. I'll wait. No, but seriously, you have to wash your hair in sections. It really helps with detangling later on. It's not even the washing part, it's the detangling part. It's a detangling nightmare if you do not wash your hair in sections, and now you gotta like part a section and then pull it out, detangle it. Wash your hair in sections, sis. It will help you. Number four, you're not deep conditioning your hair. All right, okay. Why aren't you deep conditioning your hair, sis? Why? You know what? Let me know down below. Tell me why. If you think slapping a little bit of conditioner on your hair, rinsing it off real quick is going to do it for you, it's not. Deep conditioning is so important when it comes to natural hair. This is the bread and butter. This is where the magic happens. And you have to deep condition your hair in a way that your hair likes, okay? Don't deep condition your hair like JENNJ. You can try it, and if you don't like it, then try something else. When it comes to natural hair, I always say you have to do what works for you. So try my method and see how your hair feels. If you don't like something that I do or recommend, or you don't feel like it's necessary, then don't do it. But I like to say that I've also tried like other ways and they haven't really worked for me, and I just don't really like to do too much to my hair either. You're not moisturizing enough or properly, so that also kind of ties into porosity. But 4C hair tends to be really dry and you need to moisturize her a lot, okay? I'm just saying, if you do have low porosity hair, you have a different routine. That's okay. For high porosity 4C hair, moisture. And low porosity 4C hair, you still have to moisturize her. You just have to moisturize her differently. That's why it's important to know how to deal with your hair. If your hair is dry, then you need to moisturize her more often. You gotta know these things. Once your hair gets extremely dry, it's going to break off. You can have more split ends, like I said before. I mentioned just at the beginning, it's gonna be a problem. If you want a video on porosity, I will put it in the cards and link it down below, okay? Number 6, you are oiling your scalp too much. Ooh. This one's a big one. It's a big one. We love to oil our scalp. If you look at my head wrap, it is covered in oil. But I personally think that sometimes we can overdo it with the oils, and then your pores on your scalp, because you know, there's follicles on our scalp, there's pores. You're clogging that. You're clogging all of this machinery that's there to grow your hair, your follicles, your scalp. There's too much oil. Too much oil in your scalp, too much oil in your hair, especially if you have low porosity hair. Now you're putting oil on top of oil on top of layer of oil that's not being absorbed in your hair. It's not going anywhere. Meanwhile, your hair inside is dehydrated. It's suffocating. Kind of a problem, you know? Number 7, you're not pre-pooing. So that's kind of interesting because I just talked about you using too much oil. But for me, what I've realized is I don't need to use oil on my scalp as often as I thought I needed. I don't need to oil my scalp every day. But when I am pre-pooing, I do like to use an oil, saturate my hair, and like let that set overnight. Most oils have benefits for your hair, so you want to reap the benefits. Overnight is enough. So I put almond oil personally in my hair. I sleep on it. Kind of like this. I kind of went overboard today. Anyway, so I do that. I leave it in my hair overnight, and then the next day I wash my hair. That's the key. Now I don't leave it on my scalp for the rest of the week, if that makes sense. At a certain point, I thought that I just had really bad dandruff, and I think that's what it was. It was bad buildup on my scalp. It wasn't dandruff. So that really helps me with that. But if that's what works for you, then do your thing. Is your hair flourishing? If your hair is flourishing, girl, tell me which oil you're using, because you know I may want to try it. All right, number 8, I've mentioned this all throughout this video, and it's porosity. If you don't know your hair porosity, then you don't know how to do all the steps that I just mentioned earlier. Your hair porosity will determine how frequently you should wash your hair, how you should dip condition, how you should moisturize your hair properly. It will help you out. Do a little bit of research in porosity. Important. Number 9 is not trimming your hair. Ooh, okay, that's another big one for us. We're so sensitive when it comes to our hair. It's so hard for us to cut it. The idea of cutting your hair when you're trying to grow it seems counterintuitive. I understand, I get it. But when you have split ends, which are inevitable, since you did not tie your hair at night, then, you know, you have a little bit more split ends. That's what it is. Your hair was rubbing all over your pillow. You haven't been moisturizing your hair well. More split ends. What else you haven't been doing? You haven't been dip conditioning, which is supposed to really infuse moisture inside of your strands. You haven't been doing that. You're gonna have split ends. I'm sorry to tell you. Once you have them, you have to trim your hair. I am just a messenger. Don't hate me, hate the game. You don't have to cut a lot. I will make a video on trimming natural hair, and when I do, I will let you know how I do it. And I will also let you know what your trimming schedule should be. Ooh, we haven't thought about that, huh? Well, I figured something out. It's called a trimming schedule. We'll talk about it in the trimming video. But it's important for you to trim your hair. Number 10, you need to hear this. You are pulling your hair out. Pulling your hair out, you're doing tight ponytails, and not just ponytails. It could be, you know, tight little buns all over your hair, or it could be a big bun. You're slicking your edges a little too much, and I'm so guilty of that one. Ooh, you're using lace fronts and all that glue, you know, in the front of your hair, especially the glue. I sort of have a bad experience with it personally, so we shall not be doing that. But then the front will be looking so good sometimes though, you know? Like sometimes you just want to like change it up entirely. Anyway, I digress. I'm just not even gonna think about it. It's the sad truth. You are pulling your hair out, or you're doing too much manipulation with your hair. You're constantly in your hair. Every day you are in your hair, and it's just how you're handling your hair. Although you could be spraying your hair with water, for example, every day, that's fine, or moisturizing every day, that's fine, but it's how you're doing it. If you are combing with a comb every single day, I will highly advise against that, personally. You can use your fingers, a comb. So these are my tips and tricks to long natural hair. This is not just for 4C hair. Natural hair in general needs a little bit of love, okay? You just have to love her. Same with your skin. If you want clear skin, you would pay attention to her. You would do your skincare routine twice a day. You know what I mean? If anything that you want in life, it takes care, attention, determination. So if you want healthy hair, you are gonna have to care for her, okay? I wish you guys good luck. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I really like talking to you guys. You can also find me on Instagram. Slide in my DM, girl. It's all good. If you have any video requests as well, leave it down below. I feel like I am so oily. I have all this almond oil in my scalp. I kind of overdid it today, but that's because my hair was so dry, you guys. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!